Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 22nd of May, the first important news, that is Prime Minister asked to raise voice against unilateral change in the status quo. He was basically emphasizing on the part of China and Russia's move on Ukraine. Second, understanding the human pangenome map. We'll see what are the new discovery and what are the details that you need to know. Third, India and US to high technology corporations. Second last, that is the return of 2000 currency note to bolster the bank and market liquidity. This is what a research team has said. And the last is an editorial India as a quad-led biomanufacturing hub, something very important out there that will be directly relevant for your mains examination per se. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. And if you're someone who's looking forward for both test series, integrated test series for prelims and mains, we have come up with this with 30 plus prelims tests are there. That will be followed by 8 mains all India test. Along with this, you'll be also getting a subscription of IAS Guested magazine, free mentorship, flexible tech schedule for all the students, and PYQs on current affairs, CSAT and full length. So do check it out. मैंने वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक दिए हुए हैं जहाँ से ज़्यादा डिटेल्स ले सकते हैं and even you can buy this course. So do check it out. Starting with the first news, that is Prime Minister to raise voice against the unilateral change in the status quo. Something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. Now, there's a G7 working group summit. This is a session which is ongoing in Japan. So the G7 working session को address करते हुए Prime Minister of India ने confirm किया and he has reaffirmed that India's stand on Russia-Ukraine crisis and said that his views in the Ukraine current situation is an issue of humanity and human values instead of politics or economy. Definitely, Ukraine has been suffering a lot after the invasion plan that Russia has undertook, and even the several attacks took place, which has called for a lot of devastating effect in the Ukraine, and the human life is in danger in Ukraine. So definitely UN and all other agencies have taken the cognizance. West, United States, European Union, ये सारे members ने action लिए हैं, but again something conclusive is not coming out. Even India के stand की अगर बात करें, India was neutral in its stand, but now India is vocal on its past and said that the dialogue should be the only option. Now, he urged the international community to collectively raise voice against any unilateral attempt to change the status quo. तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने कहा अगर कोई भी ऐसी पोजीशंस आती है, ऐसी स्थिति बनती है जहाँ पे स्टेटस को अगर चेंज हो रही है तो वहाँ हमें यूनिलैटरली अटेम्प्ट लेने की जरूरत है. Now, in his remark, the Prime Minister has also referred to his talk with the recent Ukrainian president. He has met him. He had a telephonic conversation earlier, but personally he has met him and assured that India would be providing all best possible assistance in negotiation with the countries, specifically Russia, that is involved. Now, adherence to UN Charter and international laws, this is what the Prime Minister has categorically said. The session, which is ongoing in Hiroshima, the name, the place, the venue is important for prelims and many other government examination if you're preparing for. So it says that the Prime Minister said that all countries must respect the UN Charter, international laws and sovereignty. That is something very essential guiding factor for all the governance. And territorial integrity should be taken into consideration and called for raising voice against the unilateral attempt that is aiming to change the status quo, right? So this is what he has specifically highlighted. And Prime Minister comment come against the backdrop which is lingering in the row with China in the eastern Ladakh region. India has been facing tussle with China in the LAC and even the Russia's invasion to Ukraine. So these were the two interpinning point where Prime Minister has categorically highlighted that the status quo should be maintained and there should be no attempt to against the unilateral. So this is something that he has actually said. Now इंडिया के स्टैंड की अगर बात करें यूक्रेन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को लेकर, the Prime Minister of India said India has always been of the opinion that the tension or any dispute must be resolved through dialogue. This is what India has been advocating for. But just to remind you, India ने कोई भी clear cut stand नहीं ली है यूक्रेन की तरफ. It says that the dialogue should be the only option between the two countries, that is between Russia and Ukraine, right? So the Prime Minister said that the current global situation, the maximum most profound effects are there in the fuel. ये दोनों वॉर जो हो रही कंट्री के बीच में उसकी रिपरकशंस पूरे वर्ल्ड को झेलनी पड़ रही है. एंड इवन द पोस्ट और साइड इफेक्ट इज देयर फॉर द एंटायर ग्लोबल एरिना. एंड स्पेसिफिकली कुछ एरियाज की बात करें, फूड, फ्यूल, फर्टिलाइजर्स क्राइसिस आर समथिंग विच इज देयर फॉर द डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज इन स्पेसिफिक. Global peace, stability, prosperity is the common object for all of us. This is what the Prime Minister has said. Moving to the other news, that is understanding a human pangenome map, something important for general studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of health. एक recent study published हुई है in the Nature journal which described the pangenome reference map using the genome from 47 anonymous individual where 19 men and 28 women are there, and these were the sample were basically from Africa but also from the countries like Siberia, America, East Asia and Europe, and they have come up with some important details regarding the genome and the pangenomes. So before I come to the detail of pangenome map, just to tell you what is genome. Genome is basically a blueprint of life, right? It is a collection of genes and all the regions that gene contain in 23 pairs. You know that a human comprised of 23 pair of chromosome, or you can say the total is 46 in number. So do not get confused. The pair is 23, the total number is 46, right? And genome is like the identity card. Like we have Aadhaar, that is there for individual. Our genome is our Aadhaar card. Now, each chromosome is a continuous stretch of a DNA string, or DNA strings की अगर बात करें, it is composed of like जो पूरे genome खास के जो chromosomes है 23 chromosomes, each composed of millions of individual blocks called nucleotide or base. And most of you must be aware there are 4 building block of this nucleotide, which is A, T, G, C, right? So this is adenine, this is thymine, this is guanine, this is cytosine, right? तो ये सारे 4 groups होते हैं, that is building block, that is forming the chromosome, and there is a pairing, right? So these pairing goes and make individual, the fraternity, doctor fraternity understand about the genetical makeup of your body. Now genome sequencing big important aspects है इसमें. Genome sequencing basically a method which used to determine the precise order of the 4 letter and how they are arranged in the chromosome. Combinations देखी जाती है किसके साथ combinations. Sequencing of the individual genome help us to understand the diversity and the genetic level and how prone we are in the certain diseases. So this is how the things are taken care of, and accordingly the body makeup is being understood by the expert. Now coming to a topic that is the pangenome map. I'll show you image also. How does it look like, right? So first I'll show you the image to have you better understanding. This is how it actually look like, right? Now the discussion part, that is unlike the earlier reference genome, it was a linear sequence. You can see this is the linear sequence out there, and it's a pangenome is in a graphical form. So this is a kind of a graphical form. Now, complete and air-free human pangenome map will help us to understand the differences and to explain the human diversity. It helps us to understand the genetic variants in some population which result in the underlying health condition, something directly relevant for prelims examination. Now, future genome maps की अगर बात करें, it include high quality genome for Indian, including many anonymous, and even the isolated populations in the country, which shed light on the prevalence of how the discovery of new genes, rare genes, and the rare diseases took place. Design better diagnostic methods help us to discover the novel drug against those diseases. Right? Now, coming to the discussion, that is the main topic, pan genome map. So, what is pan genome map? Before I proceed the discussion part, I wanted to show you some images that will make things clear for you. So, this is how the pan genome map actually look like, right? So, this is an example. This is an image that highlight the part of pan genome. Now, this is only the reference. It is a linear sequence of which is represented in the graph. The graph of each chromosome is like a bamboo stem, which you can see in this image. The bamboo stem. This is how it actually look like. So this is a part of the bamboo stem, right? And it has a node which stretch up to the sequence of 46 individual with internodes varying with representing genetic variations among that individual, which is different from their ancestor, which is clearly visible here. Now, to create a complete and continuous chromosome, that is the part of the pan genome, the researcher used the long read DNA sequencing technology to produce the string of continuous DNA strand of tens and thousands of the nucleotide along the long. So these are taken into reference. The red in color is exons, then mRNA. This is mRNA and this is intergenetics. So I'm not getting into details. This is not required for us. You just need to know the images are there to help you understand how it actually look like. Now, importance kya hai pan genome map ki? How does it help? Although any two human are more than 99% similar in their DNA, but there's still 0.4% of the difference that exists in two individuals. Very important statement, which is relevant for prelims examination. Now, the completely error-free human pan genome map will help us to understand those differences and explain the human diversity better. उसके साथ साथ ये हेल्प करेगी अंडरस्टैंडिंग द जेनेटिक वेरिएंस और जो पॉपुलेशंस में डिफरेंस है दैट इज द अंडरलाइनिंग हेल्थ कंडीशंस कैन बी अंडरस्टूड and futures is that the further the pan genome will include the high quality genome for Indians, which include the endogamous and isolated populations, right? और even जो disease prevalent है, जो new genes और rare disease के disorders हैं, even to understand the better diagnostic methodology and even to discover the novel drugs against those diseases. This is how the importance of pan genome is actually working out. Now, moving to the other news, that is India-US to high technology cooperation, something important for general studies paper 2. That is effect and policies of developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. So, the India and United States are discussing the possibilities of co-producing the jet engine, long-range artilleries and infantry vehicles, and this is under the initiative called Critical and Emerging Technology IECT. This is Initiative on Emerging and Critical Technology, right? So this was announced this year only, where India and United States are looking forward to augment the overall part. Now, according to the officials, the High Technology Initiative is expected to announced during the Prime Minister upcoming visit in United States in June 2023. He has been invited by US President to have a conversation and even proceed for the bilateral meeting. Now, the visit will launch IndusX under the IECT to promote the partnership between two countries' defense innovation ecosystem that is scheduled in Washington. The dialogue advanced is the ambitious agenda, जहाँ पे जो industrial corporations हैं, उसके अलावे maritime security, technological corporations reflect the robust and comprehensive defense ties between United States and India. Now, किस तरह से cooperation बढ़ाई जाए इंडिया और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के बीच में, even on that part focusing both countries are working on the ways to enhance the industrial cooperations, including the technological partnership, long-term research, and improving the supply chain security. Besides this, the country is also looking forward with jet engine collaborations that was discussed during the part of the meeting that was there for the collaboration and mechanism between the co-production and co-development. Now, what is the priority? Basically, अगर बात करें इंडिया की इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन में या इंडियन ओशन रीजन में जो प्रायोरिटीज हैं, that is officially exchange the views about the shared priorities and even aligning with the US-India partnership, with like-minded partnership with the free and open Indo-Pacific. And India is more concerned in the Indo-Pacific region, considering the fact that the dominance of China is something which is visible. The leader has reinforced the commitment to strengthen the cooperations and even to increase the part of interoperability between India and United States militaries, ताकि वो दोनों together work करें across different domains and services and helping out each other in different verticals also. Now, the other news, return of 2000 currency notes to bolster the bank and market liquidity. Something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. Now, according to the research report, the Reserve Bank of India decision to withdraw 2000 note could boost the bank deposit base in the liquidity market anywhere between 40,000 crore rupees to 1.1 lakh crore rupees. This is about a third of the heavy currency that is flushed out in the exercise. ये बताई गई है जो एक्सरसाइज होगी that will be ordered with avoid taxes and uncounted income that will be funneled with assets such as real estates and jewelries. RBI की एडवाइजरी क्या है? आई हैव ऑलरेडी मेड अ डिस्कशन विथ यू अबाउट द आरबीआई एडवाइजरी. आरबीआई ने कहा है दैट ये 2000 की जो बैंक नोट है दैट कैन बी एक्सचेंज इन द एनी ब्रांचेस, right? And for time being, it will be legal tender till 30th of September. This is the deadline, right? And RBI further said that this can be done like 23rd of May se start honi hai. That is possibly where it will start. And something you can interchange 20,000 rupees within a time, single time mein kar sakte. The facility for the exchange will be limited up to 20,000 और 19 regional center जो RBI के issuing branch है, issuing department है, वहाँ से भी की जा सकती है apart from any other banks in the India. Significance of the move, definitely the move will provide for the fiscal buffer where 13 to 0.3% to 0.5% of the GDP will have something which will mitigate the expenditure spillover and potentially take throughout the year. If you see the part of the comparison, this is how this value, which is 10% in circulation, amount to 0.13 to 0.15%. More importantly, this is a strong dividend transfer where we'll be provided with bonanzas of the core money market liquidity at the center of the government eventually will be expensing on the part in the coming months. Now, moving to the editorial of the day. This is the editorial for the discussion, that is India as a Quad-led bio-manufacturing hub. Something very important for mains examination. This type of topic is very important for mains. You can expect a direct question in the mains examination. Something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. Now, what I'll be discussing under this editorial first is a Quad-led biomanufacturing hub, which is about the biomanufacturing part. Again, then we have Quad and complementary strength. India's strength in biomanufacturing, strengthening the physical infrastructure and the way forward. If the question in mains is not related to Quad, there can be definitely a question of biomanufacturing hub in India where you can highlight the Quad partnership also. Now, in March 21, if you go back 2 years, you'll find that Quad, that is members include Australia, India, Japan and United States, set up a critical and emerging technology working group. और ये working group facilitate कर रही थी for monitoring the trend, scout for the operations of the development of critical and emerging technology, which also include the biotechnology. And our focus of discussion in this editorial is the biotechnology hubs, right? However, the potential of Quad corporations in biotechnology remained insufficiently tapped because the focus has not been there, but definitely India as a country is focusing on this. The establishment of Quad-led biomanufacturing hub in India will give a necessary flip to enhance the corporations, and how India's potential can be drastically used, we'll see that. पहले बात करते हैं बायो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की. बायो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज अ टाइप ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और बायोटेक्नोलॉजी ये यूटिलाइज करती है बायोलॉजिकल सिस्टम को टू प्रोड्यूस द कमर्शियली इंपॉर्टेंट बायोमेट्रिक और जो बायो मटेरियल्स उन्हें यूज़ की जाती है. इवन बायो मॉलिक्यूल्स आर यूज्ड. द डोमेन ऑफ मेडिसिन, फूड एंड बेवरेजेस प्रोसेसिंग एंड इंडस्ट्रियल एप्लीकेशन, ये तीन ऐसे इंडस्ट्रीज हैं वेयर बायो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट. Now, biomanufacturing uses different systems, particularly microorganism, tissue culture, produce molecules, material on the commercial side. Now, it is a potential to transform the global industrial system with up to 60% of the physical input to the global economy expected to produce through the technology. And many countries, including the United States, China, recognize the need to optimize the ecosystem, and they have designed their specific policy to save the bioeconomy. Apart from the economical and infrastructure development, bioeconomy is something which is gaining a new surge. Now, quad and complementary strengths की अगर बात करें, as I have told you, if the establishment is there in the no, before I come to that part, इंडिया ने खुद नेशनल बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डेवलपमेंट स्ट्रैटेजी को इन्विजन किया है एज अ कंट्री, मेक इंडिया ग्लोबल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब. नाउ यू कैन रिलेट दिस विद क्वाड विच इंडिया हैज ऑलरेडी सीडेड. तो क्वाड को ये काफ़ी हद तक कॉम्प्लीमेंट करेगी इन बिल्डिंग अ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब, बायो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब. Now, this strategy will target 100 billion as a hub, and important to recognize India's ambitions, that is the external support, particularly through the Quad partnership, and even it will enable the initial development, which India has already come up with the specific policies known as National Biotechnology Development Strategy. Right? I think most of you are able to connect what I'm trying to convey. Now, the part that is there, the Quad shows the establishment of biomanufacturing hub in India to benefit the countries of economical potential and address the supply chain vulnerabilities. Now, US has a significant funding capacity with all three other countries, that is Japan, Australia, and the US, advancing the biotechnology innovation ecosystem and the intellectual property rights also. Now, India की क्या strength है biomanufacturing में? Although India has a skill, power, and potential to provide the affordable skill, even this was something which was highlighted by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, where they have categorically noted that India is a top performer in the field of biomanufacturing, both in terms of quality and in the research output, right? So this is one positive aspect. Now the other is that India has a significant potential in the low-cost biomanufacturing. यहाँ की जो productions है काफ़ी low cost है, particularly the enzyme, reagents, research material, and the equipments. Now, according to at least one analysis, the cost of manufacturing in India is 33% lower as compared to United States. Very, very important point. Please take a note of this. If you want, you can write it somewhere, because you will be using this as a fodder point in the mains examination. Mains में इस तरह के सवाल, इस तरह के points आप जरूर लिखें. This will give you an added advantages. Now, instead, India is the ideal choice for hosting biomanufacturing hub to exist the infrastructure, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and the available workforce. Strengthening physical infrastructure. Now, to do everything what we have discussed, एक physical infrastructure की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, और इंडिया एम कर रही है कि जो leading biomanufacturing hubs हैं उनको basically enhance किया जाए, augment किया जा सके, ताकि 10-fold to 10 million liters of things can be processed in a 5 year. China has also experienced the part of the intention where to capture the market of the biomanufacturing, where it is also looking for the small molecule and active pharmaceutical ingredients. अगर बात करें API की, तो China is a prominent market. It's a number one in that. Now, for concern, China dominance in the API has pushed India to launch the production link incentive schemes, जहाँ पे India ने PLI लाई API के लिए, और it has allocated $2 billion to pharmaceutical sector, and even to make biopharmaceutical API as a key starting material relating to the products. Now, way forward की अगर बात करें, given the fact that Quad is providing opportunity to India, अगर इंडिया के पास ये opportunity होती है biomanufacturing hub के लिए, so definitely this will facilitate the cross Quad collaborations. The biomanufacturing hub, all the houses will have a bilateral government which will establish through the collaborations for the office purposes. The hub can harmonize the language, regulations, data sharing regarding the biomanufacturing, and even secure the supply chain of the Quad nations and facilitate international cooperation. Now, ये hub अगर इंडिया में establish की जाती है, this can capitalize the part of economic potential, biomanufacturing, and addressing the potential vulnerabilities of the global system. Now, India is the ideal choice. Definitely, India is the ideal choice considering the fact जो US की productions है और इंडिया के productions में 33% cheaper value होगी, API इंडिया के पास exclusive होगी, and skill and workforce is something which is exclusive and cheap, right? So this will also provide the essential infrastructure, pharmaceutical, manufacturing enterprises, and workforce. So these are the added advantages that India poses, and India is definitely front runner when it comes to the part of the biomanufacturing hub that should be established, led by code. So this is how you can conclude your answer in the mains examination. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option was B. For second question, the correct option was C. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको credit rating agencies के बारे में बताना. As per the norms, CRA shall vary support consideration document to ensure the unconditional, irrevocable and legal enforcement. और CRA की जो regulation है वो RBI करती है. So do check out for the correct option. Second question is about the International Civil Aviation Organization, established under the Convention on International Civil Aviation known as Sydney Convention. I think most of you must have read all this news in the current affairs. And the ICO is funded by funded and directed by 193 national governments. So pause this video, read out the complete statement one by one, and accordingly proceed for the correct option. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.